Wow, that's crazy. So, I don't know if I mentioned this in a video, but I recently got a bigger SD card for the camera, and instead of being limited to like 32 minutes of video, I'm limited to like almost 5 hours, so I can film multiple videos and save them on the SD card and edit them later. Super nice. Before, I'd have to film one and then edit it right away if I wanted to film another one because I had to take it off the memory card. So once it was filmed, I could delete it. Now I can save it. Much better. Today we're talking about leopard geckos and specifically some really exciting stuff for next year. So let's take a look at my leopard gecko racks and we'll go over the first couple main ones. So this rack was my breeder rack. It housed all my males and females, and it was full to the brim. So I got some tubs back there that need to be washed, but this is just females, and let me show you why. So, look at this chunky girl. Luckily, a lot of them stayed chunky. There is a one that's like really thin after breeding, so I don't know if I'm going to breed her next year. But this is the lay box. The females need the lay box to lay their eggs, right? So the males don't need that, so their tubs are actually this size. Here's Apex, my Black Knight. So it's actually the same footprint. If I pull this one back out, obviously the tub's still in a little bit, but it's the same footprint. Actually, even more so because it's squared off. It's just not as deep because they don't need it to be as deep. So I can house a lot more this way. So I have all the males here up until this one, and everything below that is just bigger stuff for sale. And this rack is all smaller stuff for sale. Now, just because I'll have leftover babies this year and stuff, and I'm holding back some, I'm probably going to run out of space for babies again this year, which is where I buy another one of these racks, and I put it right here. Or two, I can put two right here, but then I have to find a spot to put the snakes. So it's always a work in progress. I'm definitely leopard gecko focused, not really snake focused, so the snakes do take up a lot of room, but I'm willing to, you know, put them up here, put them off to the side, do something with them. And again, they also will be brumating for the next couple months, so that will give me some more room in the reptile room because they'll be in the garage, staying cool. Now, there's all this empty space at the bottom of the female rack, which means I can add that many females. I can add 11 more females. So if I have 16 and I add 11, is that right? Yeah, if I have 16 and I add 11, that's like 40% more female crested leopard geckos, my apologies, which means I'm going to produce a lot more babies this year. I'm probably going to produce almost twice as many because a lot of these females, I only had like 3 or 4 the year before. A lot of these are brand new first years, so they maybe didn't produce as many, right? Or they had slugs, or they weren't ovulating right away. So we're going to have a lot of leopard geckos this year. I'm going to take a seat real quick so we can scoot forward. And so the first pair is super exciting. So obviously we're going back to Apex. Now if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen this a few days ago. So Apex is a Black Knight Eclipse Max Snow. You can see the eclipse on the nose right there. And this is his granddaughter, a Black Knight Eclipse Max Snow. And he's super dark, or she's super dark. So the goal is to get her up to size to breed with him. So if I bred these two Black Knights, theoretically, I'll get some, most of them will look just like them. They'll all be Eclipse, they'll be either normal snow or super snows, and because they're both super dark, we'll get two super dark animals. The way it works is a normal to a normal makes generally normals, normal to a Black Knight makes somewhere in the middle. Of course, you get some outliers each way, so you might get some darker, you might get some normal, but a dark to a dark will mostly get you all dark. You might get some a little darker, and you might get some a little lighter, but you're going to get generally all dark. So producing a lot of animals that look like Apex is amazing. I sold a couple of them this year for around $800 a piece. And we can actually take a look at these. This one right here is a Super Snow version, maybe just a tiny bit lighter. The Super Snows tend to lighten out a little bit. And here is another animal that's, it might be a snow, I'm not 100% sure, but it is just a little bit lighter. You can see some back pattern on there. So those two are sold. And I think I have one more in here that's like really dark. Let's see if I can find it. There's a little baby, but that's not dark. Oop, hopping out. I don't know, somewhere in there. I know there's another one. But then we also have a, let's see, this one. So this is a Black Knight, Max Snow, possibly Max Snow, Patternless Eclipse. So obviously my Black Knight Apex is an Eclipse, we all know that. But the original female I bred him to was supposed to be a Super Snow Blizzard. Now, a Super Snow Blizzard and a Super Snow Eclipse look, you know, identical. Impossible to really tell. So when I bred them the first year, I got some double hets, and this year I produced this only this visual. So the odds that this was the only visual I produced was super low because I actually produced a lot of eclipses. So I was waiting the whole year to produce that Blizzard after having lots of eclipses and lots of normals, and I finally produced one patternless. So that's where we're at. It's a patternless. I know you can't, it might look like a Blizzard, but you have to believe me. You can see the pattern right up on the neck. When it first hatched out, it was very obviously a patternless. I'm sure I have a picture of that somewhere. If I do, it'll either be on screen or you can check it out on my Instagram or something like that. But that animal is a visual eclipse patternless is what I'm trying to say. So what I will do this year is I will go to one of these projects. It'll most likely be 3.5, and I'll take out the male. So these were all double head. It was a male to 3 females. They were all either normal snow or Super Snow Black Knight double heads. So with that one, theoretically 1 in 4 babies should all be double visuals, which is insane. Now the only problem with that is that animal is not very dark, and these ones are all 50% Black Knights anyway. So we're gonna produce a couple double visuals, and then over the next year or two we're gonna keep holding back some darker stuff. We might outcross it a little bit to something else that's dark. We might have a visual eclipse that's het patternless that's really dark. So here's some, like maybe that one's a visual eclipse. Maybe that one will stay a little dark. Or maybe we'll breed it to something that's just a eclipse that's dark, and you know, have another round where we outcross it, then we breed it back to make visuals, but in doing so we keep it dark, right? So we may do that, but that male is for sure going to be breeding this year. I know Black Knight Patternless, a lot of people are doing that. It just really amplifies the black. It makes it so you can have black kind of more all over as opposed to like white underneath. So that's definitely sought after. Eclipse is kind of a weird gene. Not a lot of people are doing it. There are people out there doing it, but not a lot of people have their hands on it yet. So we also have the white and yellow snow radar group. So I have 1 or 2 I want to hold back this year, and I think so. This is a Super Snow white and yellow radar. You can tell by the high white sides, the Super Snow nose. This female will be awesome because my male is a Super Snow white and yellow radar. The 2 females are white and yellow radar and a white and yellow snow bell head eclipse. So this to my male will make all Super Snow white and yellow radars, depending on what you believe or how you believe white and yellow actually works, but theoretically all exactly the same, which is awesome because they're very beautiful animals. And if I were to post them for $200, I would sell them all day, but I don't. I sold a couple this year and I sold them for like $400 a piece. This is the exact same thing, but I don't believe it's white and yellow, and I do believe these are both females. I know that top one is for sure. Yeah, so these are going to be both females. So I don't know yet if I'm going to completely replace these 2 just because if I'm making all Super Snow radars, they're all going to look exactly the same, and that's kind of boring. Whereas you have these two, I take these two to shows just to show them off, and they're kind of dull right now, but they're just beautiful white with like oranges and yellows. And yeah, these two are really pretty geckos. Love seeing those animals. Lots of lavenders in there, and I know everyone else loves seeing those, so I might keep those. So I do have the space for it. So let's do a little math here, right? Let's say we add that Black Knight, right? This one's a male, so we don't have to worry about him. That doesn't take any more space. We add 2 of the radars, so that's 3. That still leaves us with 8 spots, and one of those will be a Tangerine Tornado. So that way I have 2 adult female Tangerine Tornadoes. Let's see, let me get into this bigger bin. Ooh, let's see, this one, I just like the bold coloring on this girl. She is just a head eclipse, so maybe she'll breed to Apex. I do have this normal, I think that's what she's from, 3D. Yeah, so she's from that normal, so she might just replace her mom, and I might just sell that normal mom. This one, same exact thing from the same girl, so I might add her, and she's actually darker, so Apex might breed to these 3 this year, along with maybe like 1 or 2 of the other girls he was with, probably that one and that one, and that'll produce some more double heads or head eclipse, posset, patternless blizzard. I have a lot of those actually, a lot of double heads and a lot of het blizzards, posset, patternless. They don't sell too well because honestly a lot of them just look like snows. Like that just looks like a super snow, right? No one wants to buy that for $250. But like that's kind of dark. It all just depends. We do have a lot of those this year, and I don't want to produce as many next year, so replacing that male with a double visual will fix a lot of that. It'll reduce our number by like almost half. And getting rid of Trixie, who is the Super Snow Patternless. She is for sale on MorphMarket. Go ahead and check her out if you'd like to. Getting rid of her will also help that number go down a lot, and that'll just kind of make them all rarer, honestly. If we're producing less of them, we'll have more Tangerine Tornadoes. This is the Black Knight Eclipse group. That one's for sale. I don't actually remember why. Oh, I think she didn't really lay a whole lot. That's probably why. But I still have this girl, super chunky. So I'll probably find another Black Knight Eclipse male. I do have a lot of them. Not a lot of them are super big yet. But, you know, if I get another one up to size, or maybe I'll just switch that female up to him, up to Apex. But I could, you know, she's a head eclipse. She's a visual eclipse, is she? No, I don't think she is. No, so I might replace her as well. But the first step to getting the new groups together is to make more space, which was this rack. So now I have more space, so I have to wash those tubs over there, put them in here, and just start deciding what I want to do. These 2 Tug Snow females, if anyone's interested in that, lefty and righty, do hit me up. I don't really want to sell handicapped geckos on MorphMarket. That's kind of frowned upon. So if you're interested in those, preferably local, because they are, you know, they were pets originally. Please let me know. I'd love to give those off to a good home. Or I'd purchase a Tug Snow male, which I could do that, and work with those. But I tend to stay closer to the Dark Knights and the Black Knights and the more expensive morphs. Tug Snows aren't very lucrative, if you will. So those are just some of the awesome groups we have going on this year. That does leave me a little bit of space in this rack. And now next year I imagine I'll save, you know, some of the Blood Bells and the Tangerine Radars I picked up this year. To have, instead of pairs, I'll have trios. But other than that, that probably leaves me a couple spaces. So if I have any extra random stuff coming around, I'll probably just throw that in just to produce more numbers. Whether that's Tangerine Tornadoes, that's something I can easily produce more numbers of. Or if it's throwing, you know, a not as dark Black Knight Eclipse in there, that's fine too. If it's breeding with Apex, it doesn't really matter. People love that. Plus, these are already 50%, so you breed it with Apex, you're getting technically a 75%, and then you are still looking at some pretty dark animals. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you like my Leopard Gecko collection. If you have any morphs you want me to check out, definitely leave them in a comment below. I love learning about new morphs. I love looking at what you guys think is popular, because you know the market dictates what's popular. You know, if something's really expensive, it's usually because it's popular, and that's what I tend to lean towards. Now, when you're breeding, you should really stay with stuff you like, and I do like a lot of the animals. A lot. I probably like all of them, all the animals I work with. But I also follow market trends because I am trying to make money. This is a business for me. So I really like the bold striped snows. I have a buddy who started working with them, so I don't want to get into him just yet. Try not to step on his toes at all. But I know I will get a pair or a trio of those eventually. But if you have any other morphs you really like or you'd like to see on the channel in terms of leopard geckos, leave them down below. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe. All that definitely helps out. Check out my car channel if you haven't, and make sure to follow me on Instagram at JamesJeptiles. I post a lot of my stuff there before it makes it in the videos, so if you want to get you know, first look at some stuff, check it out there. And like I said, we are close to 500 subs, so if you would subscribe, I'd appreciate that. And who knows, maybe we'll do something special. We are going to the Lodi show coming up in like 3 weeks, so get ready for that video. It'll probably be a long one because I have the space for it now. And I got a couple extra batteries, so even though the batteries last like half an hour, I got enough to make it last. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Have a good one.